P.T. Logan's 5 Minutes of Terror. Twisted, troubling tales to send a chill up your spine. Bugs.
Greta is a bully. Everyone knows that she's a bully. We're talking a pull your hair, knock your books out of your arm, accidentally on purpose bump into you bully. Hey Sally, you're so skinny, I bet you're starving. Greta steps in front of Sally, who does her best to keep her head down and avoid eye contact. But Greta moves with her, and Sally bumps into the much larger girl. Greta barely feels it, but Sally falls hard on her bottom. Watch where you're going, toothpick, Greta says, a sloppy grin on her face. The quiet girl tries to get up, but Greta shoves her back to the ground. Please, I don't what? Don't want to eat? Why not? You look so hungry. When Sally opens her mouth to speak again, Greta reaches behind her and reveals a juicy earthworm. It's wriggling wildly between her fingers, trying desperately to escape. But it, like Sally, is a victim of Greta's bullying. The girl thrusts her hand forward and jams the earthworm into unsuspecting Sally's mouth. Sally immediately tries to spit it out, but Greta's fat fingers squeeze her lips closed. What's wrong, Sally? Aren't you hungry? Like the worm moments ago, Sally struggles to wriggle free from Greta's grasp, but the girl is just too strong. Sally's face starts to turn red and her eyes widen. Finally, when it seems like her only choice is to swallow, Greta lets her go. She spits the worm onto the dirt and takes a deep, shuddering breath. Greta laughs. I thought you would like it. And then she leaves, and Sally breaks down in tears as she slowly pulls herself to her feet. The very next day, Greta follows Sally again. She expects the thin girl to take a different route home to avoid another interaction, but she doesn't. To Greta's surprise, Sally doesn't change her path in the slightest. The girl walks through the field, over the small wooden fence, and through the dirt patch that leads to her house. And when Sally is almost in the exact same place as yesterday, Greta calls out, Hey, skinny girl. Sally starts to run, but Greta was waiting until she was close enough to grab the back of the girl's shirt before yelling. Her fingers catch hold, and she pulls her to the ground. Sally cries out as dust floats in front of her face. Greta uses the girl's confusion to quickly search the ground for another worm or bug or anything equally as disgusting to shove into the girl's mouth. As luck would have it, she finds 4 potato bugs all nestled between a small chunk of bark. Greta scoops them up, and they immediately turn into defensive balls in her palm. Then she walks back over to Sally, who is just starting to stand. The girl's eyes, the corners of which are still caked with dirt, go wide. Please, I'm not hungry, Greta finishes for her. No, Greta thrusts her hand forward, shoving the potato bugs into Sally's open mouth. Like the day prior, she quickly pinches the girl's pale lips between thumb and forefinger and grasps the back of her neck so Sally can't spit them out. Skinny girl, you need to eat. Sally's nostrils flare and her cheeks turn red. When the girl bucks and thrashes, Greta finally lets go of her mouth. As Sally spits the potato bugs out, Greta shoves her back to the ground. Should have swallowed, skinny girl, she says with a laugh as she walks away. Day 3 plays out nearly identical to day 2. Only instead of a worm or several potato bugs, today's insect of choice is a caterpillar. A plump, hairy, black and yellow caterpillar. Day 4 is a millipede. Day 5 is a grasshopper. Days 6 and 7 are the weekend, so there are no appetizers on these days. But on Monday, something strange happens. Sally's route was the same, as was the time she left school. But Sally was different. When Greta shoves her to the ground, she needs both hands to do it. The rest of the story is the same. Today, a mealworm. Tomorrow, a centipede. On day 9, Greta shoves Sally, but the girl doesn't go down. It takes 3 hard pushes this time. Sally doesn't even beg for mercy either. She just opens her mouth and lets Greta put the thumbnail-sized beetle between her lips. Greta doesn't even need to pinch her lips. Sally closes her mouth all by herself. You're weird, you know that? Greta mumbles as she walks home. Greta is so weirded out by yesterday's events that she doesn't follow Sally home on day 10. Instead, she just keeps to herself and walks briskly as soon as the school lets out. Unlike Sally's route, Greta walks through a park and an old abandoned parking lot to get to her house. The parking lot is always littered with garbage, from old cans to other refuse. But what she'd never seen before was a white bucket in the middle of the parking lot. A white bucket that looks brand new. There is no label on the side, nor is there a lid. What's this? Greta wonders out loud. She walks right up to the bucket and peeks inside. Then she recoils. Inside is a worm, 4 potato bugs, a caterpillar, a millipede, a grasshopper, a mealworm, a centipede, and a beetle. "Hi, Greta," a voice from behind her says. Greta whips around and sees Sally standing not 3 feet from her. "What do you want?" Greta demands. She places 2 hands on the girl's shoulders and pushes. But today, Sally barely budges. "Not so skinny anymore, am I? Maybe it was all that protein you've been feeding me." What do you want?" Greta repeats, feeling fear rise inside her. Instead of answering, Sally reaches out, and this time she is the one doing the shoving. And she's right. She isn't skinny anymore. She's strong. Greta falls hard onto the pavement. She scrambles to get up despite the pain that radiates up her legs. But Sally is already on her, pushing her back down with her foot. You look hungry," Sally says with a laugh. And then she picks up the bucket full of bugs and lowers it to Greta's quivering lips.
P.T. Logan's 5 Minutes of Terror. Twisted, troubling tales to send a chill up your spine.